All right, here we are diving into the Strixhaven cards for black. First up is Lash of Malice. Single black for an instant. Target creature gets +2/-2 until end of turn.
That's a nice one.
That is a
I like
nice one.
Yeah. It's like a, probably worse than, definitely worse than Disfigure, but Disfigure's really good. Yeah, this one's cool. So it's shock-ish, Disfigure-ish. I guess the downside of it is you can't, like, it's worse against big creatures, right? Where you can't, like, shrink them in combat.
But there is it is nice that it's a little, like, not that it's ever, like, going to be a real combat trick for you, but then you are a non-0% of the time you can cast this on your own stuff, you know?
It's a mini Pro Patrols, right? Where you're like, yeah, totally. Also, there's, like I said before, there seems to be a lot of utility creatures, small utility creatures, right? A
lot of 2-mana 2/2s that you want.
Yeah.
I think this is C plus.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to give. I kind of want to give it B- territory, but I could see, maybe I just falling the wrong side.
I respect.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B-, but I could see it being C+. Next up, got a combat trick, Professor's Warning. Single black mana, choose one, put a counter on a creature or target creature gains indestructible until end of turn.
I think this is a nice little trick. I don't think it's like a high pick or anything, but this is a modal 1-mana combat trick. That's pretty good. Best of One Bob approves.
Yeah, it's got that kind of snakeskin veil-ish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great comparison. Yeah. So I mean, right. C-. I'm not like writing home about this or anything, but
no, but cheap 1-mana tricks are always, if you're in the market for a trick, you want the 1-mana ones generally. So,
all right, here we go. Unwilling Ingredient, single black 1/1 menace. 2 and a black, exile unwilling ingredient from your graveyard. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. This is the dream 5/4 curve, right? Unwilling ingredient on 1 and then sack this on 2.
Yeah.
This also wears +1/+1 counters super well.
Yep.
This card is so good.
Even in Silver Quill, like you were saying, with +1/+1 counters.
Yeah.
It's just a menacing, they have to double block this at some point, or else just getting in as your 1-drop, chip damage.
This reminds me of my pet card from War of the Spark, Dreadmalkin.
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely not quite that
not
level.
As good as Dreadmalkin, obviously, but
yeah. So what do you want to get? I think this is still just a C.
You know what, Alex? I mean, this is the first time anyone's graded a 1-drop higher than you, but I'm going C. I'm going C+, buddy.
Wow, 1-drops aren't that
this card is
limited, right,
through the roof synergistic. Synergistic through the roof in this set. I think it's so good.
I'm gonna stay with the C, but I respect it. How can I not respect a high grade on the 1-drop?
Yeah.
All right, next up we've got Arrogant Poet. So this is 1 and a black for a 2/1. Whenever Arrogant Poet attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gains flying until end of turn. A little ding me, ding you action here.
Yeah, so the thing that makes me like this card quite a bit is I think it's mostly a Silver Quill card. I think it's mostly for your black-white aggro decks. Mm-hmm. There's a good bit of life gain running around, or maybe not a good bit, but there's a decent amount of life gain running around in
a smattering,
if you will, a sprinkling of life gain.
Yeah.
That negates this cost, but also drop a couple +1/+1 counters on this thing, and it's a 4/3 flyer you have to pay 2 for or whatever. That is a quick clock, and that is not hard to come up with in that deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I'm thinking about this as just a black-white card, I think this is a solid C.
Yeah, I think this one could even be C+. Just evasive 2-drop, with a cost, of course, but when you want it to be evasive, you can be evasive. Mm-hmm. I think C+ on this one.
Well, it can't block evasively. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
So I think, I do not think this is a card your black-green decks want most of the time. So yeah, the black-green aggro deck I mentioned, but I don't know. I think this is it could go there. Anyway, you're going C+ here?
I think so.
Wow, love it.
All right, next up we've got Essence Infusion. I'm surprised this name hasn't been used. This is 1 and a black for a sorcery, notably. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn.
Star Pupil into this. Let's go. I'm dead serious. I think that's an insane curve.
Well, even the unwilling ingredient into this.
Yeah,
right?
Deal.
Just 3 or 3 minutes. Go. It's very much it's kind of funny. We have a lot of analogs to Battlefield Raptor.
It's an aura. It's an aura.
Yeah, it's an aura that gains lifelink for a turn. Then we also have the the black combat trick is the protection spell, right? It's like, it's kind of funny. Yeah, this is like, so, you know, we can't talk up this card too highly, but like, this is what Silver Quill wants to do.
100%.
Right? It wants to load on its thing.
This is your Silver Quill 2-drop, I think. I think you were going 1-drop into this, and you're happy about it.
Put this on the your 5-mana 3/3 flyer that you like, the ward guy. Like,
yes, please.
Boom.
Yeah. I think I'm going C.
I'd go C on this. You can't go higher than C, I don't think.
I don't think you can go higher than C, but like, so here's the thing that's also bothering me is, well, maybe the rest of you're just so good at evaluating cards, but I feel like I was so proud of myself for being like, look, I'm evaluating these aggro cards correctly, but you're also with me on that. All right, next up is...
Well, it will also, just like, think about it this way. It's such a swing, right? Oh. Like, yes, of course, you know, it's the you know, I have a whole video about this, but like, if you put an aura on your creature, you're accepting the risk that it gets removed, but that's okay, because that's an acceptable risk, because the upside is so high.
The upside is you win the game.
Yeah.
And the fact that, especially Star Pupil, mitigates so much of that if you have another creature in play.
Yeah.
So now what, they kill your thing, and now you dump 3 counters on something else?
Yeah, pick your spots, right? But
Hunt for Specimens. 1 black for a sorcery, create a 1/1 pest creature token, and learn.
This one's nice.
Yeah, again, this might as well cost green-black.
Right.
But this is so important in that deck, I think.
Yeah, like, I think the obvious curve is this into the Specimens card, right? Like, get the make 2 pests. Oh, sorry, this is Specimens. What's that card called? I don't know what the card's called, but it's 3 mana make 2 pest, right?
Pest Summoning.
Pest Summoning, thank you. And that just comes up the ground for all of your sacrifice stuff or your life gain stuff. Elvish Visionary is a comparison that I made yesterday to this card. I think it's pretty similar. I like it. C+.
This is at least a C+.
Do you think it goes into B- territory?
I think if you've got, like, it depends about your, like, you're never taking this over. You're taking Pest Summoning over this every time, I think. You need the lessons before you have a learn card like this, I think.
I think so. That's what I'm a bit muddy on that. I could see that flipping. I think you're right, though.
No, the lessons are so much more at a premium than the cards that can find them.
Yeah, no. I agree. I think so.
And yes, I know we can just rummage with it, but that's not ideal. Get that value, people.
Yeah. So, what's your final grade on this?
I'm going C+ on Hunt for Specimens, but I could see it being a B-.
That's fine. I agree. All right, Leech Fanatic. 1 black for a 2/2. As long as your turn, Leech Fanatic has the lifelink.
So we saw this in, not the last core set, but the one prior? Blood Burglar.
Yeah. Blood Burglar, yeah.
And that was not good.
Yeah, that's like, you know.
I think
most synergy set.
I think this is gonna be good.
Again, this plays multiple roles where it's like it's life gain for the Witherbloom deck, but it's also like a good thing to augment
in your black-white deck.
Yeah, your black-white deck, right? Like, that's the thing to consider. You know, I've mentioned this a few times, but this is a concept I think is very important and will come to light in this set a lot, where your things, when you want to augment something, you want to augment something with the keyword, because then the keyword gets the thing you're augmenting, right? And you're going to want to augment your creatures in this set in Silver Quill. So, I think it's a solid C. Nothing more.
I agree. I think solid C for Leech Fanatic. Next up is Promising Dusk Mage. 2 black for a 2/3 human warlock. And when it dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, draw a card.
This one feels Clunk City to me. It feels like all the other like 3 mana counters matters cards they've ever printed, where it's like, all right, if you do the thing, not much.
What a difference it makes if this is a 3 mana 3/2. Because then Silver Quill is like, sign me up, and if it gets augmented and dies, great. Like, but a 3 mana 2/3, yeah, I agree.
Doesn't
I think
attack well.
C- for me.
Yeah, this is like junky. I'd give this. I'd even just give this a D+.
C+. All right.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna want to play this card very often. All right, next up we got Crushing Disappointment. So we've got 3 black for an instant. Each player loses 2 life. You draw 2 cards. The first time I read this, I thought it was both players do both things. I was like, why would you ever want to play this card? It's not that bad, but it's still clunky.
Yeah, this again. I could see you playing this in either. I mean, I'm a pretty big proponent of don't play random card draw spells in your aggro decks, but I guess the each player loses 2 life clause in black white could be good. It could also end up like a card like Bad Deal, where you just like get to a point in the game where you can't even cast it.
Yeah.
So that has downside for sure. I'm pretty out on this card. I think maybe it's good in black green.
So like, how much difference is this than like Dark Bargain? Like dig 3 deep, take 2, lose 2.
It's not that much different in my mind, but
Yeah.
I think Dark Bargain has fallen from grace. You know, it was like,
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
it was something in Dominaria, but we've seen it reprinted. It was in a core set and it was no good.
It's not just like a generically good card. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it could, like, I think this is a potential 23rd playable, which is not anything to be excited about, but I'll give it a C minus.
I mean, I still think it's a D plus.
Yeah, I think the black decks, it's kind of funny because the black decks, I mean, some Witherbloom decks want to grind, but I think in general they want to be proactive, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, this one, I hate this card. This is Mage Hunter's Onslaught. 2 black for sorcery. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses 1 life.
I mean, you can talk about. I'm not going to grade this card low, so you can talk about not liking it, and then we can grade it.
Yeah, I just think we've just repeatedly seen this slot be like so underwhelming. Like 4 mana, clunky sorcery, reach out, kill that thing.
I mean, this is really good in black white.
I think it's fine.
This is I don't know. You top your curve with this. This is like a fault. It just wins you the game. It's a falter effect. I don't know. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses 1 life. If you go 1-drop augment, 3-drop this, like, oof.
I think this isn't as good. Like I imagine that scenario. I don't think it's as great as it sounds, though.
Yeah, I also think this is just good in black green. I'm not grading this lower than a B minus.
I'm gonna give it a C.
Okay.
I think it's our first major disagreement, probably, of the set. Funny enough.
I also didn't think Feed the Serpent was bad in call time, so I was never. I was never on the black is bad train.
No. I get that. I just think, like, even like Daring Demolition. You know, we saw that like fairly recently too, and that was like a whatever. I could take it or leave it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Next up, we've got Novice Desector, 3 and a black for a 3/3 troll warlock with 1. Sack another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery.
This is kind of... So we've seen these clunky-ish sacrifice a thing, put a counter on something, usually itself kind of creatures, and they're usually clunky as all hell, right?
Yeah.
This one can put it on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you care about moving the counters around? I don't think this is like... I think this is better than the versions of this card we've seen. I don't think it's great, but I think it's like a fine playable.
Fine playable could be B minus or D plus from Alex.
No, I give it a C.
Yeah. Sorcery speed plus 4 mana 3/3 puts me a little off of this card.
Well, imagine like, so sometimes it'll just like help you force through some, you know, your 4/4 past their 3/3, or whatever, sack your smallest thing, sack your unwilling ingredient or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you go, oh, like you're tapped out, or I have a protection spell, put it on my poet, put all my creatures on, dome you for 5, 6.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'll go C.
Okay.
I'll go C.
Chat says, in what universe is this card and the last card the same ranking? I'm taking a stand here on that last one on the removal spell. Like, sorcery speed 4 mana removal spell is just like not all that desirable. It's a fine effect. You're gonna play it sometimes, but sorcery, like, I think Feed the Serpent is whatever. Of course, that was contextual too, but at the same time, like, sorcery is much worse than instant on those kind of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, next up here we've got Spectre of the Fens, 3 and a black, 2 and a 3, 2/3 flyer. 5 and a black, activated ability. Target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life.
This is a little sneaky good, I think. So, coming off of the War of the Spark flashback with the 2/1 vampire that had this activated ability was 6 and a black, but I think it was the same. It was the same. They lose 2, you gain 2, I think.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how board style this format is going to be. It does look a little on the slower side. This activated ability is not
something.
Nothing. Like this decides games.
Yeah, I like this card reasonably well. It also, you can put a counter on it after your star pupil die. I think this card's decent.
I mean, I'm not grading it, I think, higher than a C, but I like it.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I think I like it as a C.
All right. Eye Witch. Single black 1/1 flyer. When it dies, learn. Hello, dearie.
Nice. Yeah, this is another good thing to sack to your 5/4 that comes in.
Yeah, that's the perfect curve. Wears counter super well. Doesn't feel bad to like load up on this and then they quote unquote 2-for-1 you, but then you go find a lesson.
Yeah, you sacrifice it. A lot of good things to say about the bat, basically.
How high of a grade can I give this?
This seems like, so we've like 1 mana 1/1 flyer in black it's something that usually isn't very good, but that's because black is not usually aggressive. I think it's fairly aggressive, at least half the time here, right?
But I also think this goes well in black green.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's just like a sacrifice thing for black green.
I want to give this a B minus.
B minus. That's not insane.
I'm going B minus. I think this card's really good.
I'm gonna give it a C plus.
Oh my god!
But I would not.
I've graded 2 1-drops higher than this man. What is happening?
Let the record show. Wow. I think that I would not be surprised if you were right. Basically, right? I think this card has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And it's a bat too for your whatever. your
yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking.
Whatever that card's called. All right, we got Flunk. 1 and a black for an instant. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is 7 minus the number of cards in that creature controller's hand. Huh.
Yeah, this is good. Kills a small thing early, kills a big thing late.
Scales with the game, yeah. It's so how often, if you're on the draw, so your opponent has less cards in hand than you, how often are you going to be able to kill a 2-drop with like a 2-mana 2/2? Well, is that a play pattern that just happens?
Maybe not on turn 2.
So they go land. They're gonna have probably.
No, they'll be down to 5, right? Up to 8, down to 7.
Oh yeah. That's not.
No, they'll be at 6. Up to 8, down to 7, and then up to 8, down to 6.
Oh, true. So you're gonna have to wait.
So if they're on the draw. Yeah, if they're on the draw, you can't kill a 2-drop.
Right.
Okay, so that's
still good though.
Yeah, I'm not trying to kill a 2-drop with my 2-mana removal spell.
Of course, but you have the option to, and that's yeah.
I think it's a B.
Yeah, I would put it about a B as well.
All right, next up is Plum the Forbidden. This is 1 and a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sack 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and you lose a life.
Weird card. So baseline it cycles. If you really just need to cycle, right? Lose a life, draw a card. It's alters reap, pay 2 life. But then there's a lot of things that make it interesting, of course, where you have your Magecraft stuff, you have pests if you want to sacrifice those. You have like Star Pupil, move a counter around your instant speed, or any of those things that matter. The pests don't ding you. I've seen a lot of people be quite high on this card, and I'm not like super excited about it, but maybe it plays out better than I think. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, all these, again, I think these cards that are, this is not a black-white card. You're not playing this in black-white, I don't think.
I don't think so, no.
But so it's already sort of gets a knock slightly. For, I guess I shouldn't say a knock slightly, because there have been cards where I've like, this is just like Bookworm. I'm like, this is a blue-green card, but I still think it's great. I don't think this matters particularly. Like, it can be insane. But I don't know. I'm generally not a fan of the Village Rite style cards.
I wonder. Like, I know it's obviously hard to imagine what the board states and what the game states are going to look like, but I wonder if you're just going to have like this like abundance of pests if you're drafting, a reasonably open seat. Where you have like a few of the lessons. Like, imagine you have 2 pest summonings, right? And you get a few learn cards. But that turns this into a real card.
I just don't think I want to be. I don't know. I just don't think I want to be sacrificing my pests like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. I'm gonna go C- on this.
Okay. Yeah, I am a little more optimistic on it. I think I'm gonna go C+ for the upside, but yeah, I respect it. It's a finicky card. Totally.
This next card I like quite a bit.
Yeah, we've got Brackish Trudge. This is Tuna Black for a 2/4. 4/2. Enters the battlefield tapped. Then it has a 2-mana ability. Return Brackish Trudge from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only if you've gained life this turn. So it's another life gain payoff, and a pretty good one too.
Yeah, I mean, and this is your recursive threat. Like, you don't, like I said, there's no raise dead stuff. You don't get that.
Oh, you know what's kind of cool about this card? You can learn and rummage it away.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah,
that's nice. This feels like I think both decks kind of want it.
It's a little slow, right? Like, coming in taps, like these coming to the battlefield tapped creatures always play out pretty like worse than you might think.
Not for Silverquill doesn't care.
Yeah, it does sometimes still, right?
Yeah. I'm going B-.
I'll go C+. I think it's a good energy card, but yeah, C+. I think.
All right, go blank. 2 and a black sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards, then exile all cards from that player's graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad they shifted the Mind Rot up to uncommon, so I don't have to see it as often.
That doesn't that good.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, sideboard card, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like so what? It's kind of funny against Lorehold because
it's pretty gross against Lorehold.
Well, but also but they get triggers on their things, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of funny. I mean, it's gonna probably be net good to exile their stuff, I assume. But
right. Yeah,
it's kind of funny. C maybe.
I'm just giving it a sideboard grade. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not main decking that card ever.
Yeah. Next up, we have a lesson: Necrotic Fumes. 1 black. As an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature you control, and the effect is exile target creature or planeswalker.
Ding ding ding.
Yeah, it's like a Bone Splinters lesson card, but it exiles. Mm-hmm. Good one. Yeah, this is another one that you're probably gonna want to take pretty highly.
Yeah, I think this is like a B for me.
Yeah. No, I see it. This is a really nice one to have access to, right? Especially the curve of going the 2 1 and a black, make a 1/1. Find this.
Yep,
that's kind of nice.
I mean, not that you're trying to do that on turn 3, but yeah.
Of course not, but you have that thing that's lying around if you need to, right?
Yeah. Yep. Umbral Juke, 2 and a black for an instant. Choose 1. Target player sacks a creature or planeswalker, or create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying.
Yeah, I like this one too, actually. So, Edict effect in limited is generally not great, just because games go long. The longer the games go, the more likely is they have a creature they don't care about, right? But the modality of it, of course, the beauty of modality is when it's good, it's going to be good. And when it's bad, you still get a flash 2/1 fly.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, love this card. I think this is like a B-.
Oh, I do not like this card as much as you.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe I should, though. Maybe Best of One Bob should like this card.
Yeah, Best of One Bob should love this card.
Yeah, you're right.
You need a creature con? Deal. You need a 2/1 flyer? Deal.
Well, I really hate edicts.
But when it's good, it's going to be good.
Yeah, and a 2/1 flyer. Yeah, B-. All right. All right.
Right, it's a flash flyer, too, so. Okay. All right, next up we've got Mage Hunter. This is 3 and a black for a 3/4. Whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose a life. Seems annoying.
This is annoying and a good body. Like, creatures seem small. 4 toughness seems like the key here. And a 4-mana 3/4 with like pretty annoying upside.
It seems like a card that's like you would never mind having this in your deck, but it's never like, oh yeah, I want to pick that highly, I don't know. This is tricky. It's probably gonna deal them
Seems like
2-3 points.
This is like a C plus. I could see this being B minus, honestly.
I think. Wow. I was just gonna say it's probably like a C.
This seems like one of the like. The only other 4-drop that's coming to mind is the Zookeeper or whatever, the Zoomaster.
The Zoomaster.
The 4/3 that makes a 1/1. Like, what other 4-drops are better than this? This is good.
So chat makes an interesting comparison. Spitfire Lagak from Zendikar, right?
Yeah. No. The problem is no is the answer, is because like you're getting maximum 1 trigger off of that unless you're like playing Roiling Regrowth. And this like just hoses some decks your opponent's like, "Oh, I just can't." Your Prismari opponents just like can't do their thing because they're taking 3 every time they're like trying to copy their stuff. Like, this is not Spitfire Lagak.
No. I agree. This is better than this, but I'm still gonna stick with a C. Like, I think this will ding them for a few points. If they really need to kill it, they'll probably be able to kill it. You know.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not super high on it, but
great. Next up, Tenured Ink Caster. This is 4 and a black for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter attacks, each opponent loses a life and you gain 1 life. I like this card quite a bit in Silver Quill.
So there's like this one and there's the white one we haven't seen that are both a little like clunky but have good effects, basically. Like if you get these going, they're good. So this is just like a curve topper. Yeah, no, I actually like this card as like curve topper. Make one of your things bigger. Like it's kind of just like an enchantment in a way, where it comes down.
Right. That's like, just don't worry about it as being a 2/2. Just think about it.
Yeah. I don't like that too much.
And I think this is gonna win. Like if not actually effectively win a game the turn it's cast. It's really good.
Yeah, I still think it's like a C plus. Still, are you willing to go higher than it?
I think C plus is fine.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, this is a little better than I initially thought. I think the drain effect is really good.
Can you imagine the black +2/-2 killing this? Yes, I can. You're not getting, but you don't get blown out by that card. Like, yeah, that's a huge tempo loss for you, but there's the situation where you're like, you want to get the drains from this. You're either going to get them or not. Like, your opponent kills this pre-combat or not. So, like, there's, this is a good card.
Yeah. All right. Our first rare here. We've got Confront the Past. Exile Black for a sorcery, a lesson. Choose one. Return target Planeswalker card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, or remove twice X loyalty counters from target Planeswalker and opponent controls. So, I mean, the cool thing is, if you want this card, if then you have a Planeswalker in your deck, you're probably gonna get it, right? And this is like a cool thing to go get. Or you might pick it up and be like, okay, well, like if I face a Planeswalker, I can kill that Planeswalker, right? Again,
right.
The only opportunity cost in this card is where you take it in the draft, and you're probably gonna get this card late.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know how to grade that. Grade is like
it's like pretty. Yeah. Should we give it a lesson grade?
Lesson grade.
Halfway through the review, adding a new grade. Yeah. There's a. It's not a 0. Is all I'm trying to say.
Right? Yeah. Poet's Quill is 1 and a black for an artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, you learn. An equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink for an equipped cost of 1 and a black.
Oh, this one's so good.
This is like an A-.
Yeah, so like traditionally, plus like lifelink equipment have just been very good. I mean, we just saw in the last set.
Rune of Sustenance, baby.
Yeah. This one you don't have to draw both the cards together, right? Yeah. This is a Rune Crown, but it costs 2 mana and it draws you a real card. Actually, that's a great comparison, right?
This card is an A-.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this card's very good. This is so similar to Rune Crown, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, A- in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet. Next up, we've got Callous Blood Mage. This is Tuna Black for a 2/1. And enter the battlefield, you get 3 options. You can either make a pest token, draw a card, lose a life, or exile target player's graveyard. Modality.
Hard to not like it, except that it's a 2/1. But, like, yeah, the modality of getting the pest if you need it. If you want 3/2, if you want to draw a card, if your opponent's doing some graveyard stuff.
Yeah, C plus, I think, probably, right? Just like a super solid card.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's even B minus territory in terms of like, does this pull me into black? Probably.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna like the baseline of 2 mana, 2/1 draw card is pretty good.
Agreed. Sedgemoor Witch, Tuna Black for a 3/2 with Menace, Ward, pay 3 life, and Magecraft, make a pest.
This one's so good.
Yeah, this card is
ridiculous.
Holy.
So already its body is good, just 3/2 Menace, like that's a good stat line. Then Ward, of course, a nice little upside, and you got a pest every time you cast a spell. This one's really good.
Yes, agreed.
This is just like one of the best Magecraft triggers we've seen. Right?
B plus.
I would put this in like the A minus territory.
Yeah.
This card is really stellar, I think.
Agreed.
Yep. Next up, we got Baleful Mastery. This is 3 and a black for an instant. You may pay 1 and a black rather than pay the spell's cost. If 1 and a black cost was paid, an opponent draws a card, and the effect is exile a creature or a planeswalker. So you're like virtually never casting it for 2 mana, unless. So you will cast it for 2 mana if you like just have the 2 mana up and they go for like a combat trick or something, because like you'll be ahead on board. You're gonna be parity on cards, right? But like you'll be ahead on board, so you'll still want to do that some amount of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, you're gonna default this as just like 4 mana instant speed exile card. That's fine. I think all things being considered is like a B minus.
Yep, I think a little higher on these clunky removal spells than you, so I go B. But yeah,
Sweet.
I like it. Auric Lore Mage is 2 black for a 3/3 human warlock. Tap, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If it's an instant or sorcery card, put a +1/+1 counter on Auric Lore Mage.
Weird card. So if this was like a red card or a white card, it's kind of sweet. But as a black card, so like there's marginal interesting things you can do in black green. In black white, you like it's a 3/3 that taps. Like grow, but then gets some of your good cards out of your deck, so like you're thinning your deck of spells. I don't think this is a particularly good card.
Yeah, I don't either. I think this is like a C.
Yeah, it might even just be lower than that. Like, yeah. I don't think you're gonna take the card very highly. Yeah, C's fine. C's fine. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And our last one here. For the last one, you got a good one. This is Liliana, aka Professor Onyx. So Professor Onyx is 6 mana, 4 black for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. She's got Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. +1, you lose a life, look the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand, the rest in your grave. -3, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power amongst creatures that player controls. -8, each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times. So you do it 7 times.
Okay, so this is an A.
Yeah, this is just straight an A. This is a great card. The Magecraft ability alone, like the Magecraft and the +1 alone, are just very, very good.
Yeah.
So, yep.
All right.
Love it.
That's black.